Let's turn our focus back home. We're starting to get the monthly reports for May when it comes to Canada's real estate market. Toronto, the freshest numbers landing this morning. We've talked a lot about the cool down in the housing market. And if you're talking about home sales activity, yes. If you're talking about prices, not so much. Let's bring in John Pasalis, president of Realosophy. And John, I want to start with that bit of a tension point, right? We have seen the past couple months this cooling in sales of activity, but we're not getting any relief, at least when it comes to Toronto, in terms of that average price.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I think this makes it a hard market for a lot of buyers to kind of make sense of, because they're hearing the headlines about the market cooling. And it has been. I mean, sales have been declining since March, which is not a typical seasonal trend. I mean, usually sales pick up between March and May, and we're not seeing that today. And you're right on prices. I mean, the one positive thing is we're not seeing this rapid acceleration in price growth that we were seeing 3 to 4 months ago. Prices have pretty much stabilized in both the low rise and the condominium segment.
And when I saw these numbers, John, I thought, even if this average price across the Greater Toronto Area of $1.1 million for the month of May just stays flat for the rest of the year, we've jumped, 28% roughly year over year. Well, when you deal with people looking to buy in this market, what do they think of that? How much of an impediment is that? That's another substantial jump on an annual basis.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely stressful for a lot of buyers. A lot of buyers really had to kind of readjust what they're looking for in a home and what they're willing to settle with. And some buyers are just stepping out of the market. Some buyers are moving out of the city and moving out of the GTA entirely. So I think a lot of different buyers are responding differently to these rapidly rising house prices. But certainly we're seeing, some buyers basically pull out of the market because it's just so expensive to get into the GTA's housing market right now.
When I talk to people in the industry like you and others, they remind me, of course, because we're talking about an average price there, $1.1 million. We're throwing in all kinds of property types. If we're talking about a single detached family home in the 416, the Toronto area code proper, $1.7 million. But if you go to the condo area, you're talking about 700s in Toronto, 600,000 range in the surrounding areas. I started out in a condo. I mean, is it a reminder to people that there are still price points in the market that are affordable? It might just not be that nice detached home that you had your eye on.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I think the challenge that we're seeing right now in the GTA is that, the shortage of supply we're seeing is largely in the low-rise, single-family starter home, right? So certainly you can get a condominium that's 500-600 square feet for $500,000-$600,000, but of course that's not adequate for a couple that plans on starting a family. And when we think about the demographic of buyers who want sort of that family home, that's the price that's kind of impossible to get into right now. I mean, you need to probably be at least in the $800,000 to $900,000 price range just to get a starter family home in the GTA. And I think that's kind of one of the big challenges we're seeing right now on the ground.
I think you alluded to it earlier. The way you could fix that situation, at least what I did in 2007, was sell the Toronto condo and move to where I am in Brampton right now. Drive till you could afford. Well, that drive was 45 minutes in 2007. Clearly, Brampton isn't affordable by those stretches anymore. Oshawa, all the surrounding areas. Is there a solution to it? I mean, what do? Do we build more homes? Do we find the missing middle, or do we just keep pushing people further and further away from the city?
Well, I mean, people are being pushed further and further away from the city. That's been going on for some time, and I think COVID has just accelerated that. But certainly we have supply constraints. I mean, in all this talk about we need supply, I mean, everyone keeps talking about it. The challenge with it is that we've been building significantly more condominiums and largely small condominiums. And the problem, again, on the ground is that, the market really needs homes for families. And we're actually building significantly fewer of those today than we were 10 and 15 years ago. And that's certainly a gap that needs to be filled by the provinces and the municipalities. Need to look at how we accelerate. And it doesn't, of course, need to be detached homes, even if they're townhomes, but they need to be family-sized properties.
We've heard from the Prime Minister in recent days. I believe the Deputy Prime Minister chimed in as well about their concern, but clearly the solutions, as you lay out, lie at more of a regional level, at the municipal level. The fact that they're the ones greenlighting different kind of building, and if you're just throwing up another condo with a bunch of micro units, you're not solving the problem.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I think that's the tension when you have sort of these different levels of government trying to work together that, especially on the supply front, the supply is driven by both municipalities and the province. And again, we need sort of these low-rise, family-sized properties. And I think how we're going to get to that, of course, is a challenge we've been talking about for the past 20 years. And hopefully we start to see some solutions, in the near future.
And John, last week before the stress test got a little bit tougher, I was chatting with you for a story that I did for the website. We've only had a few days under our belt with this new reality. At the same time, how do you think it's being received by potential home buyers?
Yeah, I mean, I think potential home buyers probably, I think, saw this coming. They're not particularly fazed by it. I mean, I think it's impacting purchasing power by about 5%. But the markets really has been cooling down naturally before that. I think, obviously the stress test will dampen demand a little bit, but probably not going to have a huge impact in the market.
Now, as we look at it, and I mean, none of us have a crystal ball, and I definitely couldn't have guessed what was going to happen over 14 months of a pandemic in the spring of 2020 in terms of what we've seen in this housing market. But with the stress test being a little bit tougher, the market already naturally cooling off, people perhaps a little bit exhausted by price. Do you think that we're going to flatten out for prices this year? Could we even see a bit of a modest pullback before the end of 2021?
Probably not this year. I think the market is so tight still that we're unlikely to see it this year. I mean, if we see a pullback, it may not happen until next year. But even then, I mean, we need to think about what's the trigger for that, right? Is it going to be something fundamental like a recession, or is it going to just be some kind of behavioral shift in the market like we saw in 2017 that pushes things down? So it's tough to kind of obviously predict these things and try to anticipate. But if we do see a pullback, I don't see it happening for at least another year or so.